Good morning, everybody. My name is John Crable. I'll be your instructor for Business Ethics, BMGT 2216 this semester. Wanted to welcome you to the course and take you on a little tour of Blackboard where you will be able to find certain pieces of information, where you go to submit assignments, where you go for your discussion boards. And from that standpoint, just wanted to just lay it out there for you and make sure that you were comfortable navigating the course and navigating our Blackboard shelf here. A little bit of background about me. I've been at Columbus State for a little over 4 years at this point in time. I lead the entrepreneurship program. I am the instructor for ethics. I'm also the lead instructor for principles of business. Really enjoy my time here at Columbus State. Quite frankly, because everything's new. We have such a wide mix of students, whether it be age, or whether it be income level, or whether it be ethnicity, or creed, or anything like that. And so from my standpoint, especially when you get into an ethics class, it's really interesting because you have all these different perspectives. And I've never had an instance where people can disagree, no problem, but we always have the opportunity to listen to each other and learn. And that'll just fold into my goal for this class real quick. And everybody has their opinions as they get into this class. My goal, my job, quite frankly, I'm not interested in changing your opinion on any take that you have, right? What I would like to do is, when you go forward, when you have an opportunity to discuss a topic with an outside person in the future, that your argument, your structure, your organization to your beliefs are much more strong, much more valid, much more process oriented. And so it's not just that you want to vote for this person because of that's how you feel. You want to vote for this person because you believe in the economic policy that they have, and you can point to topic A, B, and C, or you believe that they would be the best person to lead the country because of their previous history and their previous voting history, and how that impacts their future decision making. And so, from my standpoint, like I said, I'm not really interested in changing your opinion, but I am interested in changing the depth of how you argue that opinion. The last thing I'll say before I get into the course is that I really view my class motto for all my classes as one of respect. For business ethics, it takes on a little different term, and since we will have people of all different belief systems in here and backgrounds, I just want you to listen to people, right? Respect their background, respect their history, because chances are the opinions that you hear are formed over a long period of time. So there is something that goes into it. So as we get into the course and we start getting into discussion boards and conversations, that's all I ask. Just respect people's time, respect people's opinions. So real quick, as we look at my information here, my office is in Delaware Hall, room 244. If you need to get in touch with me, my office hours are going to be 9 to 11 online, and 12 to 2 in my office on Mondays and Wednesdays. You can actually look at the syllabus here, click on over. It'll have the syllabus for the class, but it'll also have a lot of other information. So if you wanted to see the calendar for the class, you click on, I believe it's called Web First Half, because that's our course. It could be any variety of things, quite frankly. But for our time here, that's when it will be. And let's go through the grading schedule here first. So you're going to have Connect, Learn, Smart assignments. These is adaptive learning software that goes through McGraw-Hill. It goes through your textbook. If you go through the bookstore, you will get access to a physical textbook, or you'll get access to a smart book if you rather have one online. But you'll also get the Connect access code, and that's really important for this class as well. As you can see, with 200 points, we cover 10 chapters in that book. It's very foundational work. And so before we even talk about stuff in discussion boards and web conferences in the class, you'll have gone through these Connect assignments. You'll have a very good foundation for what the book is trying to tell you, the content, and how we're going to be able to apply it. So each one of those is worth 20 points. You're going to have 3 tests. Each test is 100 points, but each test is also only 4 essay questions. And I get this question quite a bit from all different types of people. Why do you only have 4 questions? Well, I spoke earlier that this is a class that goes into depth on topics quite a bit. And so from my perspective, I want you to, the questions that I've chosen that we can adapt are ones that you're going to have the ability to apply to a lot of different areas. When you get your first essay question on any test, or any question on any test, there's 2 ways to answer it. One is going to be that you can apply the content from the book, from the course, right? And so that's not just copying what's out of the book, it is actually, restating it in your own words. The second part to each answer has to be application to a real life situation. It could be your own life situation, it could be an example we used in class, it could be something you heard on the news, but there has to be an application to each one of those. The third part of the course is going to be your discussion boards. If you were in class, we would have active participation in class. If you're on a web class, it's going to be discussion boards and working through those on a weekly basis, and I'll show you where those are here in a second. And lastly, we have a business ethics project. It has 5 different parts to it. We'll go over it, but as you can see, history, culture, marketing, sustainability, and then lastly, a presentation at the end. And as you go down through the calendar here, you can see when things are going to be due. Everything has a due date associated in the gradebook. And so you will need to stay on top of the information. But as I said, everything is laid out here for you quite a bit. And you can go through that on your own time as well. As you look at grading rubrics, we not only have a grading rubric for the class, we also have one for discussion boards for the weekly participation. So you know how you're going to be graded from this point on. If there's any questions about that, I would ask that you refer back to each of these grading rubrics and be able to apply that to your answers, apply that to your own participation in the class. All right, let's look at our classroom. This is where you're going to find the lion's share of the material for the class. If you click on learning units, you could actually get into each one of these. There's going to be a wealth of information in here. So let's just click on learning unit 1 real quick. Obviously, there are quite a bit of learning outcomes that we have for the first learning unit, but there's also going to be quite a bit of information here. Read chapters 1 and 2. There's going to be a lot of videos that we embed into this class. You can click and watch these. These are also a lion's share of them are going to be embedded into the PowerPoint presentations and the lectures and things like that. And so everything that we talk about, there should be some type of video, there should be some type of way for you to test your skill sets and your application and things like that. And so all these different things are going to be found here in each one of the learning units. Pop back out for a second. And actually, you have all 5 learning units contained inside of that one folder. All right, if you want to do your Connect Learn Smart, you can go here, click on Connect Learn Smart, and it's going to open up each one of the assignments that we have here. If you click on this link, it will take you directly to our class, our section in Connect, and you'll have the opportunity to complete all your work there. Look at Submit Assignments. You're going to go here for each one of your items to be turned in. This is an overview of the entire project. Just to talk about it really quickly, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one company to study that is local, maybe regional, and then you're going to pick a similar company in the same industry that is national or global. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, we have this concept that small businesses are better for social responsibility, for the environment, for culture, and we just want to test run that case, right? And so what we're going to do is, as we go through the different pieces and parts of that presentation, we're going to see if that actually plays itself out, if it bears itself out. So the first part is going to be history, comparison, and bibliography, comparing the two companies. The second part is going to be culture of the two companies, leadership, and corporate social responsibility of the two companies. We'll get into marketing, we'll get into sustainability as well. But as you go through this, you'll see that part one focuses specifically on that history, on that comparison, on that organization. Part two, we get into CSR. But what we really want to do is we want to be constantly comparing and contrasting the size, the scope of the companies, given that they operate in the same industry. How do they actually perform with each other? There's going to be weekly lecture notes here. These are going to be a little bit all over the place just because of the speed of the class. Sometimes they will make sense for what we're doing. Sometimes we'll jump around through weeks. But it's going to give you a little bit of structure there as well. And lastly, we have the chapter lectures for each one of the chapters in the book as well. Click on over to interaction. In a web-based class, you're going to have discussion boards due on a weekly basis. We have a lot of them here, and for some of them we won't discuss. They'll be assigned on a weekly basis. Obviously, if you are in a 16-week class, you'll have more opportunities. If you're in an 8-week class, I'm not going to assign more than one discussion board every week. But go back to that discussion board, that participation rubric, to make sure that you're understanding how you're supposed to be able to interact with your classmates. What I tend to do is not comment directly in the discussion boards. I want that conversation to be organic among you guys. But what I will do is I'll read through them on a semi-daily basis, make sure the conversation is going in the correct fashion, and then I will post a video, my thoughts on the Monday following each discussion board, just kind of summarizing what I've read, where we need to take the conversation, and go from there. And lastly, your quizzes and tests. There obviously it says no content to display. Those tests will pop up and be ready for you to take them in a certain window. The tests are timed. I'm not going to require you to go to the test center at Columbus State or Delaware or anywhere else. So you'll have the ability to take the test from any secure internet location, but they are timed. So if you think that you can not study for the test, look at questions up in a book, and then write the quality answer for each one. It just doesn't happen that way. So really get into the content on a daily basis. Make sure you have a good idea of what you're doing, and then be prepared to block out some time for each one of those exams. So that's the spin through the course. If you have any questions, by all means, please reach out, ask. I will be here to help us through the course, to really apply what we're doing, and make the course as applicable, as fun as I can. And I appreciate your time, and we'll go from there. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye-bye.